I'm Ryne Brannen. I farm with my family here in Statesboro, Georgia. Our farming operation, we call it Brannen Family Farms Partnership because it's important to us that it's family, and it is. Me and my two brothers are the 5th generation in a row to farm right here where we are, and we tend about 5,000 acres of cotton and peanuts, and we have some beef cows. What I love about farming is really just getting to work outside and being able to work with things that are alive and things that grow. It's really just kind of it's a fun thing for me to see, and it's humbling at the same time because it kind of shows you how you don't really have very much control over anything. We just pretty much operate by God's grace and mercy, and that's really all. We can make the best plans that we can make and do everything exactly right, and if it wasn't for the life and the seeds and the rain that He sends, it doesn't matter what we do. So it kind of it reminds us of our place, I guess. I like to grow peanuts. My favorite thing about them is picking them. That's what I always do. I always run the peanut picker every year, and I love doing that. I can't really explain it. It's just, I love watching them go in the basket. I love the smell of it. I've always, whenever I was little, I would go to the field and just sit up on the trailer with a shovel and just rake them, rake the trailer down. I love doing that. Harvest time has always been my favorite time of year, especially peanut harvest, because it's when you've worked and you finally get to see what you worked for. It's my favorite part. Farming is probably the hardest job that I can imagine. I haven't had very many jobs, but I've worked at some other things besides doing this, and this is the hardest thing that I've done. It's just constantly changing. There's constantly something you can't control, and it really is. It's a hard thing to accept that there are some things that you just can't control. It takes a while to get around to that, but it's pretty difficult when you put so much work and so much of your heart into what you're doing, and then it doesn't work out. Because it doesn't rain, or it rains too much, or something happens. Hurricane Matthew, that was a hard thing to watch. The hurricane came through here. The wind blew 60 plus miles an hour for at least 8 hours, and we hadn't picked anything. We had harvested no peanuts, we had picked no cotton when they came through. I did not sleep that night. I just laid there and listened to it rain and the wind blow, and I was just thinking about the cotton right across the road from my house, and it's like, probably not to the level of it, but it's almost the same thing as if you could imagine that one of your children was out there in that storm and you couldn't help them. That's kind of how I felt. I think the reason why we try to do all this outreach stuff is because it is important for us to tell people what we do, because people, I don't understand why, but you don't get the full story if you just hear it from someone else. If you hear it, and it isn't always because they have malicious intent or anything like that. Some people literally just don't understand. I don't know why someone would talk about something they don't know anything about, but people do that all the time. We have to explain to people, this is what we're doing. It's like anything else. I would not go up to a fireman and tell them the best way to fight this fire, because I don't know how to do that. They know how to do that. That's their job. That's what they're trained in. That's their profession. And this is mine. And I feel like we're the most qualified ones. It's hard to do. It's hard to have time, and it's hard to get in contact with people. It's a little bit easier now than it used to be, but like with social media and all that stuff, it's important for us to directly go to the consumer so that they understand where their food comes from. And I don't just mean that it comes from a farm, because people know that, but they need to understand where it comes from in the sense of what it takes to actually make it. And that's kind of the message that we try to get out there. And it's really hard to kind of break that wall down once somebody else has built it up with taking a word like sustainability and making up a new definition for it. And it's hard to fix that, but it's kind of what we have to do. The main thing that I think anybody needs to know, it doesn't matter where you live in the country, it doesn't matter what farmer it is, where they are, we're all doing this for the most part for the same reason. We're doing it because we believe in what we do, It's like I told somebody the other day, it's the hardest job I've ever done, and there's a lot of things I could do to get paid a lot more, but this is what I wanted to do. And I want to do it because I want to be able to pass it on to my kids. We want to preserve our family farm. It's been right here on this spot, on this land. We've been here for, I mean, this is the I am the fifth generation in a row right here. And that's, once you got something like that going, I don't want it to stop. Now we take a bunch of risk every year with it. It could, out of our control, it could end, but I don't want it to just because I choose it. I want to be able to pass it on to my kids and my brother's children and let them keep going with it. That's the point. That's why we do it.